But it is now with great joy that I introduce the fans who are joining us this Monday in the studio. We have seated next to me is Innocent Bumari from Bar FC. Good evening. Welcome to NTV Sport Nights.
Good evening, Mabel. Good evening, crew. It's my pleasure being here, and I'm excited for our incoming league. And it will be my pleasure being here to present our case as Bar FC, the Lions.
Okay, and next to Daniel is Victor Serugo from Vipers. I like the VVV there. Vipers SC fan, and hopefully victory will be yours maybe at the end of the season. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening, Mabel. Good evening, the whole NTV crew. I'm so excited to be hosted on this show. It's really a wonderful evening this side. And I'm so hopeful that this coming season we are going for a third title in a row as they went on.
And Nicholas Tumwesije is with Andrew. He's from KCCA FC fan club. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mabel, Andrew, Dakava, and the entire crew. I'm a proud Kasasro boy, and I feel, because every honest KCA fan would feel we should revive those glorious days of Mike here Mutevi, and I feel with the couple of signings we have had, Gui, Katenga, and how we have performed in the Super 8, I feel we are heading into the right way, and I wouldn't urge a Vipers fan to feel proud of having the third title in a row, and I feel we shall put up a nice challenge.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll start with Innocent, who is here next to me. Mbara have been recently promoted. Will you pose a challenge to anyone, or will it just be a walkover for clubs that face you?
For example, I'm filled with joy that we made it back to the league, because I'm still filled with memories of excitement that we enjoyed during our second season in the league, where we had the best season of our lives, where we played the best football with our coaches. So on our way back this time around, I'm again very happy, because you know, when our Lions are not in the league, I do feel bad, because I do associate my club so much on TV, because that's where I feel like, actually, instead of enjoying our Premier League and the leagues in Europe, when I see Mbarara City, I'm always filled with joy. So I'm very excited, because on our way back, we have acquired a serious coach in Wasobosa, whom I believe is going to create a threat to the opponents. Therefore, if you're coming to Mbarara expecting a walkover, be careful. We have signed Akando Naho, the exciting winger. We have our Kitegenyi, our prolific goal scorer, who I feel like is going to elevate his season and again elevate us to the best league position. And I can tell you, Mebo, yes, we are finishing 7th. Holding other factors constant, yeah, because we are here to challenge for the best positions, not for the league as per se, because we are still redeveloping after losing our cream in Mukondane and all that. Yeah. So I'm very excited, and I can tell Vipers, if you come to Kacheka, come prepared.
Okay. Actually, home advantage was one of those niche you have as Mbarara City, and also you have mentioned the coach. But as we are coming in, you said it can actually be a weakness, yeah, when it comes to how he operates. But I'm looking at a squad. You've brought mostly those players who helped you come into the league, yeah, back to the league. How are you going to strengthen your squad? Of course, plus the advantage of the manager.
For example, we have lost a few players. For example, we have lost Jody. We have lost Okwalinga. But again, in the signings we have made, I think Wasobosa, if you know his playing style, yeah, if Kitegenyi picks very early and Akwandonaho brings in those crosses with exciting tempo in midfield, I'm sure we're going to play a new dimensional, new tactical. I think Wasobosa is about to implement new tactics, and basing on his experience at Express, at Gaddafi, and where he's been, I feel like he can motivate the team that we have. And I'm appealing to our president, Mr. Mwinempaka. We need a defender. We need an experienced defender. Every match we brought in Magunda from Gaddafi FC. We need an exciting defender who can play at least 20 games a season.
Oh, yeah.
The moment we are settled in defense, the moment Kitagenyi picks in those crosses from Makanono to shoot at the goal, all we need is Kitagenyi to score 10 goals, and we shall be good to go. I
know what you're capable of anyway. You gave KCC a big run for their money.
Yeah.
I remember.
Now, moving on to Victor from Vipers. Yes, we have seen a lot of excellence from Vipers, and you now have a new coach. What advice would you give him?
Well, I wouldn't say that there is a very big advice to give to our new coach, Leonardo Neiva, because I'm very sure he's an experienced professional. He has traversed from different countries. We have seen him at El Merrick in Sudan. He's a well-experienced coach. It's quite unfortunate that we have been eliminated from the CAF Champions League, but it's also a blessing in disguise that we are going to concentrate and put all our main focus to the UPL, and surely we shall have a third title. And now with the senior team that we have, last season we had a challenge of our exciting and senior players moving away. Bobo Svialhanga, Halid Lwaliwa, and then Manzoki also left in the same window. This time I don't think we have had a major exodus of players from our team. Actually, we have brought in a very exciting group of players. We have Matovu, we have brought in many other guys, and we have seen Lumala coming back from injuries. We had a struggle in defense. Juko last season was so much sidelined because of injuries. Molondo was also out of club because of injuries, but they are now all back at the club. So I'm optimistic that we are going to see a very good run of games at Vipers.
Okay, I will now move to Nicholas Kasasiro Boy. We have been talking about the new coaches, and you too have a new coach. Clive asked a question earlier about, having a goalkeeper. So whom would you prefer to be the goalkeeper, a permanent goalkeeper? Probably, whom would you like to see more of between Emojong and Ochan at KCCA?
Yeah, that's a nice question, Mebo. And for starters, I would wish to first say that heading into the new season, I feel KCC is one of the well-organized teams heading into the new season. We have made a couple of signings, and you understand during the course of last season, we had highs and lows, whereby we had to jump from Morebieko as was rained when we brought in Jackson Mia Mayanja, and we didn't balance the team very well, and maybe I feel there are some players whom I feel wouldn't have been a permanent case in our team. The Igumas, the Aaron Okero, who was already struggling in the north, and I feel in the first place we are fit to win the title. Remember, there is a time when Vipers was really struggling, and we are in for it. However, when we went in for Stanbic Uganda Cup, whereby we were eliminated and our fans demanded for the sacking of Morebieko Kwaso, and that's how we jumped into Jackson Mayanja Mia. Then the fracas that went on at St. Mary Chitende when we faced our closest rivals, whereby one of our best players, however much he was not contributing to our goal tally is very well, but at least I think he was one of our best players in Shishungu Kakonde. So our season was a bit challenging, but I feel having added all those into the mix, the players we have signed, we have Emerson, we have Vinicius, and I feel we are ready for the challenge. Back to your question, you asked me about who would be our permanent goalkeeper for now. I feel Emojong would be the perfect start in our goal, because I've watched a couple of games, major in the Super 8, whereby he has now he's more of a modern Onana, as you've seen how clubs have now moved on to signing players that can pass as the team is progressing. I feel Emojong will work for us. I feel we would even have gone far in the Super 8, however much having been eliminated from that competition by URA. I think that game was just a battle between who wanted that most. having been that URA had lost their manager in Sam Timbe. So I feel the players had to fight tooth and nail so that they can maybe give him a perfect send-off. I feel that's why we are eliminated, but we are good to go, and I feel we shall put up a good fight.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll bring Clive in. Your question has been answered. Emojong should be the first choice goalkeeper for KCCA. I'm not sure.
That's his choice. That's his choice. No.
Okay, but Innocent here was saying that when you visit Kacheka, you should not expect a walkover. Do you agree? Do you not agree?
Yeah, actually, when you look at our grounds outside the Barifa Stadium in West Nile, the Kacheka Stadium in Barra is one of those other grounds that I'm very sure coaches at Vipers, at KCCA, URA Sports Club, any of those big teams never want to visit. It is very hard to go to Kacheka and you actually match out with 3 points. Those who have managed to go away with 3 points have really had to work a lot for those 3 points. I don't know if the Vipers gentleman remembers, there was even a time they needed video assistant referee to decide whether they had scored a genuine goal or not. So Kacheka is one of those grounds that are very hard to go and pick points. And now that they have a coach in Waswa Bossa, that makes it harder, because everywhere Waswa Bossa has been, his teams have not really been pushover. So it is exciting that Mbarara City are back into the league, and also the news that actually Kacheka Stadium was approved, I think was news that was welcomed by especially fans from Mbarara. But I'm very sure coaches and fans of other teams know how tough it is to get results out of Kacheka. It has been very hard for KCCA, it has been very hard for Vipers and all the other teams. And it's actually very hard in the final stages of the season where every point counts, every point matters. You go to Kacheka and those boys will force a barren draw out of you. You come back to Kampala, Kasi. So they enjoy it, but the people who visit them never really enjoy the visit in Kacheka.
Okay. Andrew.
Yes, ma'am. So the topic is open for me. I just have to eat it up. Perhaps I'll start with Mbarara City. For me, the issue of their home stadium, because at the start, licensing issues here and there. They first submitted Bombo as a home ground. Now, if you remember, Ondu Paraka last season started, of course, on a suspension, and a good number of their games were played away from home. If you are a team going to fight for at least mid-table or survival, you need your home points. You need your home advantage. And the fact that you get that home advantage early, you settle in, it allows you to pick those points. So maybe you'll update me, Innocent. I don't know whether they have approved it now, because the last I checked, you were in Bombo. And then there should be enough. In Coach Bossa, they have a coach that he has workmanship. He'll come in and get the result. It is going to come down to how long the coach stays, because we've seen teams like Mbarara start, but midway they are changing coaches 1 and 2. So it's going to come down to how consistent or how stable the coach is, and that will determine whether they fight a relegation or not. As for Vipers, same story. I think for Vipers, they have the players. Of course, they've had the Congolese go, then they brought in the Brazilians. One of them, the tall Gonzalez, had to leave after he was left on the bench in the return leg of the Champions League. And then you had players who came ahead of the coach, so you don't know who hired who. So it's coming down to a manager coming to manage players he didn't sign, and he's trying to get in the system, and in getting into the system, he's having to learn on the job, and then he's out on the continent. Now he's left with the local league, where you have players that were majorly brought in to try fight on the continent. So that discontent within the dressing room, which has been a topic at Vipers, has got to be addressed. So it's good to get down to the dressing room and how the manager manages it, but most importantly, how long the manager stays. For Vipers, they have the players, they have the squad, but it's the uncertainty in terms of management that will cost them or could cost them. Back to my friend here, Innocent and KCCA. Sorry, Nicholas and KCCA. I think KCCA are by far, or enter this season by far, the most stable, even the more organized, because they brought in the coach early, Traguil, the Portuguese. you can argue comfortably that the players at KCCA, the new players, are actually players of the coach. He has signed them, they have a stamp of approval from him, and he has had enough time to look at the players in the Super 8. And he's been clear. These are some of the games that help players put the mileage in their legs. The serious business starts at the weekend in the CAF Confederation Cup. But KCCA are stable, and the one thing you can give to KCCA, if the coach shows promise, they'll give him time. Which is different from, say, Vipers and the other clubs. So why I would go for KCCA, even back them for the title, is they're going to give the coach time. But like they say in business, when you get a deal, you first give early wins. Early wins, they are not the final result, but early wins, to just give promise. And the early wins come at the weekend. Because if you start and you are knocked out of the continent, then they begin to doubt. But still, it depends on how, on the program that you have for the coach. When Tragul came in, the first thing he did was go check out the junior side. They were on holiday. He had to call them and ask them to play and to see what's happening. And the players he's brought in are they're trying to gel in the build-up. So there's that level, there's that confidence from the coaching staff. But also he has taken time to get into the players, and I think it is going to take between Vipers and KCCA consistency, trust from the appointing authority, and how they start in the early of the season. Both clubs have the squad to win the title, but it will come down to who is more organized and who has more backing and confidence from the appointing authority. I don't know what you think, Nicholas.
Yeah, I feel we shall go head-to-head with Vipers, of course, and I don't feel any honesty. Uganda soccer lover would really put away KCC and Vipers into the mix of winning the league, going to any new season. And I feel we just have to get organized. We iron out these confusions here and there very well. But I feel we are not like Vipers, and I feel we shall give our coach enough time. At least he has proved. As any honesty KCCA fans have already said, we would really feel that vibe of Mike Yaramute back then, because I feel we won every domestic trophy on the land, maybe apart from the continental football, but I feel we won it all. Let it be Super 8, let it be Stanbic Uganda Cup, and I feel if Daniel can try to elevate that from maybe what Hilary Mtebi left, because I feel we still play that good flowing football. I've always been a support of nice football. That's why I also support Arsenal, because I like a team that dominates play, that possesses, that progresses very well. I hate a team that sits back and maybe wants to utilize attacking from the break, and I feel Daniel has done well with that. We just have to maybe bring out some issues right and correct errors here and there. I feel we shall be good to go for the new season.
Okay,
Daniel? Yeah, maybe to pick it from there, I also am tipping a competition that's going to be between Vipers and KCCA as far as league title is concerned. But with KCCA, of course, it's going to come down to how they're going to juggle continental football and of course league football, because if they are to go further into the continental football with those confederation games, there are just 6 games, but very excruciating, and usually most teams struggle. We also Vipers last season, how they struggled with having to juggle between CAF, Champions League, and that is continental football. Those games, I mean league football, those games usually drain you, and when you come back to, sometimes you miss a game here, it's rescheduled, you know, so you find it very difficult to cope with most of the teams, and it was just by God's grace that they went ahead to go ahead and lift the title. So for KCCA, that is going to be the biggest question, but they have the squad, they have it all, and for Vipers, so far I feel they are the ready team. No football competition, well, if it is management, they need to sort that out, but there's been talks that could be Isabia would be coming back as a quick fix, because it's been, actually I've been reliably informed that Lever could be leaving. He put in a resignation notice, you know, he wants to leave the team, so most likely Isabelle could be coming in. And we hope he does a better job.
Yeah, I know it's of course a tough question that you may not be able to answer, Victor, but yes, the longevity of Vipers coaches is, I don't even know if I should call it longevity. It's because they always seem to stay for a very short time, and it's very abrupt, and they're, you know, they're out of here.
Well, as I said before about the uncertainty of the coaches at our club, this is already a group of experienced players, and as per reports from some websites like Pearl Sports, we have seen that there is a possibility that Musongola could be coming back to the club. That is a group of players that he has worked with before, so it's just a matter of time, and then he gets these players starring and moving. About the longevity of our coaches, well, the club president has stated it very oftenly that he won't sit there in a shadow and watch at things going astray, and then he will just say, okay, those are technical matters. Not really. He has already stated it. When something is not working out well, he will step in and then things work out. And we have seen this working out always.
Okay. A question I have for Nicholas. We have seen in the past hooliganism has cost KCCA quite a bit. So as fans, what are you doing to, should I say, curb that, or to be more gentlemanly or ladylike this new season?
As I have said, I feel like, of course, KCCA is a very demanding club, and when you're a coach at KCCA, we the fans will always be demanding from you, because this is a team that is used to, has got used of winning. I feel we should expect a trophy at least each and every season, and contain that trophy. And if maybe you don't want to let down the fans and maybe raise that intense pressure on yourself, you at least have to produce the results. As Andrew has said, our coach has already got into the system. He just now has to get those early wins, so as to those can try to maybe put us in a better position to challenge. Maybe in the course of last season, I remember one of the indiscipline cases, most of the indiscipline cases we had were as a result of that 1-0 loss at St. Mary's Chitende, whereby our coach, that interview he did post that game, even how our players reacted towards that match. And like any other football rivalry, you wouldn't wish you should lose to your rivalry in a Ghanaian setting like Vipers. The players feel they shouldn't have lost, and that's why maybe they had that intense and radical approach in that game, and maybe after that game. But I feel if we can really sort ourselves for the new season, the fans of course have to enjoy how the boss will play. We are like any other honest KCCA fan. We always demand, as long as our DNA is the same, we are passing, we are possessing, we are progressing as a team, and we always have that mix between our young team and our senior team. You remember those days when we brought in the Okeros, this left back who left for the US? I don't think he came back.
Mustafa Kiza.
Yeah, Mustafa Kiza. Yeah. I feel now we should at least look out for our youngsters in Abu Mayanja. You have seen he has impressed in the Super 8. Yeah. We have seen Said Mayanja in the midfield of the park. Just imagine his height and how he controls the ball in the midfield, and how he makes those progressive passes. We have now got an addition in Gui, the way he progresses. I think Etienne Kateng is always everywhere in the midfield. He passes from the sides, progressing into the middle, and maybe going to the front. And for the times I've seen the Brazilian Gabriel coming from the bench.
You have many Brazilians.
Yeah, we have many, but specifically Gabriel, how he has come into the teams from the bench and connecting with that midfield of ours. I feel we are in a better position.
And to be fair, maybe to KCCA, perhaps the question of hooliganism was addressed to a wrong club. I think they've tried to work on the individual fans, but mainly last season, if we remember, Villa were one of those that actually...
Andrew.
Yes, Clive.
That man, if you've listened to him carefully speaking, he describes exactly how KCCFC should be playing and how they are going to be playing this season under Sergio Traguil.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Clive, then what about other clubs? Villa, Bull, URA, how close to the title do you think they can get?
Yeah, honestly speaking, you want to believe it's between KCCA and Vipers, but then it would be wrong for you to probably rule out Sports Club Villa. From what they were able to put up last season, they might have lost a few players here and there, but they have also invested a lot in the playing personnel. You believe that they probably have a coach, he's new on the local scene, but probably a man that has been around, and he has an able assistant in Modeviekwa. So for me, I want to look at KCCA, you also want to look at Vipers, together with the Sports Club Villa as the three teams that are actually going to be that competitive, without ruling out Bull Football Club. Last season, we thought that Bull Football Club would be one of the teams that will probably get into the equation of KCCA and Sports Club Villa, and Vipers, until along the way they lost their coach Alexis Saville and everything went south. But you believe that Apej Komeko at a Bull Football Club is building something tangible. I'm not saying they're going to be competitors for the title, but you believe it is the other team that will probably be a bit of trouble for teams like KCCA, for teams like Vipers, and for teams like Sports Club Villa. But I have a few worries for me. Everyone talks about the days of Mike Mutebi. When Mike Mutebi and KCCA were very dominant, they had very able strikers in front of goal. There was a season when Mike Mutebi had Geoffrey Serunkuma, had Derek Nsibambi, had Shaban Muhammad, and I think Tito Kelo. But even before Shaban came in, they had Geoffrey Serunkuma, they had Derek Nsibambi. When such players started going away from KCCFC, they started struggling in front of goal. And for me, I believe in the last season where they have not been able to win silverware, that has been the difference. While you have the Innocent Center Mad Vipers Sports Club scoring the goals, KCCFC has struggled in front of goal. It was very evident last season. It was very evident in the other season. They do whatever they can do, very solid in defense. The midfield is creating chances, but they don't bury those chances enough. And we've seen that in the Super 8. People get carried away with that game they played against Wakiso Giants. But the games that followed after, you could see that something is lacking. And for me, until they address that issue of having that main man that can get them the goals, they are going to continue to struggle. Shaban Muhammad should be doing that, but looks like his golden days are behind him. He's trying to rediscover his form. The coach has been giving him a lot of playing time with hope that he can probably get that one goal and get his confidence going, but he has not been able to. The Brazilians, they need time to acclimatize and get accustomed to the Ugandan playing surfaces. Abu Mayanja, yes, he can score the goals. He's a young boy. Is he ready to carry this team on his shoulders? That we have to wait and see. So for me, it is a team that has all they need in all these other departments, but in front of goal, that is an area that Sergio Traguil and company need to address if they are to achieve the targets they have set for themselves, which is winning the league, winning the Uganda Cup, and getting into the group stages of the CAF Confederations Cup.
Okay, thank you very much, Clive.
Something Clive didn't say about AC Villa. Of course, they have a new Serbian coach, Dusan Stojanovic, and they lost Gift Fred, the captain, to Yanga, as well as Charles Bale to Rayon Sports in Rwanda. But the good news is they've welcomed back Gavin Chizito from Egypt as a free agent, and also they have their young star who left for KCCA some years back, and that's Charles Rwanga. So, and of course making Kenneth Semakula new captain. So they've not lost much. They will still be good for 3, and like Clive said, Bull 4. But let's just complete the top 5. And that's for me, URA, who are always there and about. Of course, they've lost the legend Sam Timbe, but they have Fred Muhumuza, who does not have the CAF A that is required. There's rumor of someone I'm not going to mention, former Ugandan footballer, who could join hands with Fred Muhumuza. We'll wait for that to happen. But I've watched Fred Muhumuza play, of course, at my school, St. Louis. He has also coached, St. Louis has also coached Toro province in the FUFA drum. And his level of understanding the game is quite up there. If he gets another coach with a qualification, the two of them could be something special in the dugout. And that could push you at some great males as well.
Okay, thank you very much. And moving on to Innocent, as we conclude, you have said you expect a 7th position finish. What else is exciting? What else are you looking forward to this season?
For for us guys from Western Uganda, Mbarara City FC is among those tours that do give us hope. For example, before the emergence of Mbarara FC and Nyamjobara, our players could germinate from schools and then die there because they could not make it to Kampala clubs. But when our team started gaining recognition and getting promoted to the league, for example, our former boys, Mukundane, Muchulezi, Ahebwa, were given hope. So for me, as a man from Western Uganda, I'm not looking at the role of Mbarara FC in the league only to win the league, but to give us hope as a region. For example, when you are in Mbarara town and Mbarara State is playing, the vibe it creates, nothing is equal to that. Nothing brings that hope like compared to our team, because we do really have concerts, for example, for music. Therefore, Mbarara FC, we do look at Mbarara FC as our source of hope, for example, and giving us those weekly dates on Fridays for the league. Therefore, I'm excited, for example, to be heading to Kacheka Stadium to watch the league on a weekly basis during those days when we do have our home games. And at the same time, for example, when you look at the crop of players we have, we expect to develop talents actually. Therefore, when you look at the experience of Bossa Bossa, he does not need those extra players to win.
Okay.
So we expect the mushrooming of talent in the season, as well as when I look at the confusion at the KCC and Vipers, I'm very happy. Because by the way, let me give this statistic.
Confusion.
We do have,
wow.
For example, Bossa Bossa is ranked among the best coaches locally because he's the previous winner. Therefore, as well, KCCA is just looking at their coach who has not proven record here, the same as Vipers. What if I tell you, we have a previous winner?
Okay, but I'm sure that the two gentlemen will believe or hope that their team will finish #1. But unfortunately, we have got to end it there. NTV Sport Night returns after this short break.